Welcome folks to the Couples Comedy Showdown. Tonight we watch brave souls battle. They fight with words, not fists, mostly. Our first couple is Brenda and Gary. Brenda loves lists. She loves order. She loves telling Gary what to do. Gary loves Brenda. He also loves snacks, especially snacks Brenda says are for the show. He is eating a prop banana. Brenda sees this, her eye twitches. "Oh boy, Gary, is that my emotional support banana?" Brenda whispered. It was a stage whisper. Loud, very loud. Gary froze. Banana halfway to his mouth. This banana," he mumbled. Crumbs fell. It looked lonely, and delicious. Brenda sighed, a big sigh. It had its own zip code. That banana was for the Fruit Follies segment, Gary. It symbolized marital decay. Gary blinked. It tastes like regular banana decay. Brenda snatched the banana, or what was left of it. "This is exactly what I mean, Gary. You never listen." Gary looked sad. "I listen. You said, don't eat the props." This felt more like a suggestion, a tasty suggestion. He patted his stomach. Brenda pulled out a tiny notebook. She scribbled furiously, adding banana betrayal to the list of grievances. Gary peeked. "Is that under sock shenanigans or existential crises caused by Tupperware?" Brenda ignored him. She was focused, laser focused. "We need to project unity, Gary, not banana anarchy." Gary nodded slowly. "Right, unity. Can unity involve a backup banana?" He looked hopeful. Brenda just stared. The silence was thick. You could spread it on toast. If Gary hadn't already eaten the toast, this was going to be a long night. The audience chuckled. They knew this vibe. Next up, Tiffany and Chad. They burst backstage. Tiffany looked like a disco ball. A very upset disco ball. Chad trailed her. He looked like he lost a fight with a glitter gun, and the glitter gun won. "Chad, I cannot believe you let me leave looking like this," Tiffany wailed. Her voice was high. It could summon dogs or possibly bats. Chad flinched. He was used to this. "Babe, you look amazing," Chad said. He tried for smooth. He landed on slightly sticky. Like a glamorous space mermaid, Tiffany gasped. "A space mermaid? Do space mermaids have static cling, Chad? Do they?" She gestured to her sequined dress. It was clinging. "In all the wrong places. This is a disaster. My aura is completely compromised." Chad looked confused. "Your aura? I thought that was your hairspray." Tiffany threw her hands up. A dramatic gesture. Sequins flew. One hit Chad in the eye. "Oof! Right in the peeper!" he yelped. Tiffany was not sympathetic. "This is sabotage, Chad. You're jealous of my sparkle." Chad rubbed his eye. "Jealous? Tiff, I picked out this dress." I said, "Go for the one that blinds pilots." He squinted. "Maybe I picked too well." Tiffany sniffed. "It's not just the dress, it's the vibe. You're giving off unsupportive Eeyore vibes." Chad sighed. "I'm not Eeyore, I'm just less shiny than you, by a lot." He attempted a smile. It was weak. "Can we just focus on winning this thing, or at least not setting off the smoke alarms with your outfit?" Tiffany struck a pose. "Winning is inevitable, Chad. Once I overcome this textile terrorism." She adjusted a strap, more static. Chad backed away slowly. He knew that look. More drama was brewing. The first challenge, domestic disputes on display. The topic, loading the dishwasher. Brenda and Gary stepped forward. Brenda held a diagram, a very detailed diagram. Gary held a dirty plate. He looked nervous. "Okay, Gary," Brenda began. Her voice was firm, like a gym teacher. "Remember the system. Forks, tines up, spoons alternating, bowls nested by psychic energy." Gary gulped. "But Brenda," Gary started. He sounded unsure. "What if the psychic energy is off today? What if the bowls just want to be free?" He gestured with the plate, a bit too wildly. "My system is proven, Gary. It maximizes cleanliness. It promotes inner peace," Brenda declared. She tapped the diagram. "Your way? It's chaos. It's plate anarchy." The audience oohed. They felt this one, deeply. Gary looked at his plate, then at Brenda. "But isn't the goal just clean plates? Does it matter if the spoons aren't holding hands?" He tried a little smile. Brenda did not smile back. "It's about respect, Gary. Respect for the dishwasher. Respect for the process." She took the plate from him. She placed it in the dishwasher, with precision, like a surgeon. Gary watched. He felt like he was failing a very important test. Meanwhile, Tiffany and Chad faced their dishwasher. Tiffany recoiled. "Ew, Chad, did you put this fork in here? It touched food." Chad blinked. "Isn't that the point of a dishwasher, Tiff?" He looked genuinely puzzled. Tiffany shuddered. "But it's so soiled. I prefer my dishes pre-rinsed. Buy a unicorn, or at least by you." Chad sighed. "Right, unicorn rinsed. I'll add it to my list. After fine non-static sequins." This was not going well. A new crisis, the host announced. The Find the Keys challenge, but life imitates art, or arguments. Brenda's actual car keys were missing. Gary, the keys! Brenda's voice was sharp. The ones for the actual car, not the prop keys for the Escape the In-Laws sketch. Gary looked around vaguely. Keys? Oh, weren't they in the key bowl? He pointed to an empty decorative bowl. A very stylish, very empty bowl. I moved the key bowl, Gary, Brenda said. Her voice rose an octave. It didn't match the feng shui of impending doom I was feeling. Gary frowned. You moved it? But the keys have a routine. They like that bowl. He started patting his pockets. A classic dad move. Nothing. This is your fault, Gary. Your clutter. Your pocket lint of forgetfulness, Brenda accused. She was on a roll. Tiffany watched this with great interest. Then she shrieked, Chad, my emergency tiara is missing! And my car keys! Chad jumped. Your emergency tiara? Tiff, we took a cab! Tiffany ignored him. You lost them, didn't you? You're trying to keep me here. You fear my success! She dramatically clutched her chest. My sparkle is too bright for your beige soul, Chad. Chad just looked tired and hungry. Tiff, I haven't seen your tiara since ever. And I definitely don't have your keys, Chad said slowly. I think I'd remember holding a tiara. It's not subtle. He ran a hand through his hair. Maybe the keys and the tiara ran off together to start a new, less dramatic life. Brenda was now emptying her purse. Gary was checking under a cushion. Misery loved company and lost keys. All right, folks, the next challenge is the interpretive dance of disagreement. And, yeah, no words allowed. Just pure, raw, physicalized frustration. First up, Brenda took the stage. Her dance was sharp, angular, full of pointed fingers and stomps. It clearly said, you left the milk out again, didn't you, Gary? Gary watched, looking, well, a bit concerned. He mouthed, the milk? But I thought, then it was his turn to dance. It involved a lot of confused shrugging and miming eating a sandwich, and then boom, Tiffany exploded onto the stage. Her dance was a tragic ballet full of swoons, despairing lunges, and oh yes, dramatic hair flips. She looked like a dying swan, a very sparkly, very annoyed dying swan. Her dance screamed, you never appreciate my artistic temperament, Chad. Chad's turn came next. He shuffled awkwardly and attempted the robot. It, looked more like a confused Roomba. Clearly he had no idea what Tiffany was on about. After the dances, the host asked for interpretations. Brenda, still fuming, said Gary's dance clearly showed his inability to grasp complex emotional cues and his constant hunger. Gary blinked, probably a bit surprised. I thought my dance was about the beauty of a well-made hoagie, and maybe a little bit about the milk. The audience roared. They got it. They really got it. This was peak marital miscommunication, live, and in sequence. Tiffany, wiping a non-existent tear, announced, Chad's robotic flailing was a clear metaphor for his emotional unavailability. His soul is a dial-up modem in a fiber-optic world. Chad just shrugged. I just thought the robot was cool, and I kinda had to go to the bathroom. The host patted Chad on the back saying, honesty folks, bold choice. The misinterpretations were funnier than the dances, which honestly was saying something. Section 6. The ghost of arguments passed. The tension mounted, the arguments started to dig deeper, like an archaeological dig. But for old grudges, Brenda turned to Gary. This key situation, Gary? It reminds me of the great sweater shrinkage of 2019, Gary groaned. Not the lavender cashmere, it was an accident. The dryer is a cruel, heartless beast. Brenda crossed her arms. That sweater had sentimental value. It was from my Spral Hoyer Odge phase. That's pre-success in Bengali, folks. Brenda's worldly. And remember when you said my experimental meatloaf tasted interestingly textured? Gary countered. He was fighting back now. That meatloaf was my heart on a plate, Brenda. My slightly chewy, oddly spiced heart, Brenda scoffed. It was more like a dare on a plate, Gary, a culinary cry for help. The audience nodded. They'd all been there. That one comment, that one shrunken sweater, these things linger, like glitter. Tiffany, meanwhile, was not to be outdone in the ancient grudge department. Chad, this whole not finding my tiara thing, it's just like when you didn't like my Instagram post about my new artisanal kombucha fast enough. Chad looked bewildered. Tiff, I was in a meeting about actual spreadsheets, not fermented tea feelings, Tiffany gasped. So spreadsheets are more important than my digital validation. And you always use the wrong emoji when I'm upset, Tiffany continued, her voice trembling with remembered rage. I pour out my soul about a broken nail, and you send a thumbs up? A thumbs up, Chad? Chad ran his hands through his hair. I thought thumbs up meant got it or that's tough luck. Is there a universal emoji chart I missed? Was it in the relationship manual? The theme was clear. Nobody was really listening, just waiting to reload. Section 7. Decoding doth disclose disasters. The host introduced a new game. What did you really mean? Couples had to translate their partner's vague phrases. Brenda went first. Gary, when you say, "I'll do it later," what does that actually mean in Gary speak? Gary thought hard. He stroked his chin. It means, I acknowledge the task exists. I have registered its presence in the universe, and I will address it, sometime, possibly, before the next ice age, or after a snack. Brenda nodded. See, I knew it, it's a verbal holding pattern. Now it was Gary's turn. Brenda, when you say, "It's fine," with that little twitch in your eye, what are we really talking about here? Brenda smiled sweetly. Too sweetly. Oh, Gary. "It's fine" means I'm cataloging this transgression. It will be cross-referenced. It may appear in future arguments, possibly with a PowerPoint presentation. But for now, it's fine. The audience shivered. Tiffany and Chad stepped up. Chad looked nervous. Okay, Tiff. When you sigh dramatically and say, "No, it's nothing really," what's the actual translation? Tiffany beamed. Oh, that's easy, Chad. It means it is everything. It is a symphony of unspoken sorrow. It is a novel of nuanced pain. It means you should probably buy me something shiny and apologize for something. You'll figure it out. Chad sighed. A real sigh this time. Okay, my turn. Tiffany, when I say, "Are you ready yet?" and you say, "Almost," what's the almost time frame we're dealing with? Are we talking minutes, hours, geological epochs? Tiffany tapped her chin. Almost means I've selected a lipstick. The rest is a journey, Chad. A beautiful, time-consuming journey of self-discovery. An eyeliner. Chad just nodded. He knew. He always knew. Section 8. An unexpected intermission of giggles. Suddenly a stagehand tripped. He was carrying a tray of prop champagne glasses. Plastic ones, thankfully. They went flying. Everywhere. One landed perfectly on the host's head, like a very cheap crown. For a second, silence. Then Gary snorted. A loud, uncontainable snort laugh. Brenda tried to glare at him, but then she saw the host, with the glass on his head. A small smile twitched at her lips. The host, bless his heart, tried to remain professional. And that's how you make an entrance, folks. Or an exit. Or a mess. He carefully removed the glass. Tiffany, who had been mid-sentence about the philosophical implications of a broken heel, stopped. She looked at Chad, Chad looked at her, and then they both started to giggle. Not dramatic, stagey giggles, real shoulders-shaking giggles. The absurdity was too much. The falling glasses, the host's bewildered face, their own escalating silliness. It all just clicked. Brenda found herself laughing with Gary, not at him for once, but with him, about the sheer ridiculousness of it all. Their arguments about bananas and dishwashers seemed so small, so funny in a weird way. The tension in the room deflated like a leaky balloon animal, a very dramatic sequined balloon animal. Even the audience felt it. They were laughing too, that infectious shared laughter, the kind that makes your stomach hurt, in a good way. It was a reminder. Underneath all the bickering and the misunderstandings, there was something else. Something warm, something that made them put up with lost keys and shrunken sweaters. Maybe it was love. Or maybe just Stockholm Syndrome from years of cohabitation. Either way, it was a break. A much-needed, bubbly break. Section 9, and the winner is everyone who brought snacks. The host, now glass-free, regained his composure. Well, folks, after that unexpected interlude, it's time to declare a winner. He paused for dramatic effect. But you know what? Tonight there are no losers, cheesy, but kind of true, because you all showed us something important. He gestured to the couples. They were still smiling, a little sheepishly, but smiling. That was new. You showed us that arguments happen, the host boomed. They're weird, they're wacky, sometimes they involve interpretive dance. Brenda and Gary looked at each other. Gary winked. Brenda almost winked back. Progress. But if you can laugh about it, if you can find the funny in the frustration, well, that's a win. He beamed at them all. It was a surprisingly sweet moment for a comedy showdown. The couples realized something. Their fights, as silly and exaggerated as they were just their way. Their weird, imperfect way of talking. Or not talking, but still connecting. Brenda found her keys. In her other purse, of course. Gary finally got a non-prop banana from the craft services table. He looked truly happy. Tiffany decided her static cling dress was actually avant-garde. Chad agreed, wisely. The showdown ended not with a single victor but with a shared understanding. or at least a shared desire for post-show pizza. The real winners, the host concluded, are those who remember to bring snacks to an argument. Gary cheered loudly at that. Brenda even patted his arm. Maybe, just maybe, their next argument about the dishwasher would be a little less operatic. Or maybe not, but they'd probably laugh about it, eventually, after the snacks.